Alright, so a few weeks ago I did a video about me cheating on my first love, and it was a very beneficially therapeutic video for me to do, and freeing in so many ways. I think it's because, so this channel was about survival and a lot of crappy things that have happened to me, and it's all legit, it's all true, but it's not the full scope of my life and of my realities, that I've also done bad things to others. And so for me, it's important for me to say that as well, so that it's not just a one lens kind of situation, because that's not the case for me, at least. And so this is another story along the lines, even though I'll give myself a little grace and say this is more like in the grayish area. And actually, maybe you guys will let me know, comment after this video and tell me what you think. But so here's the story. So I am rooming with my best friend. We are living in an apartment in Midtown Atlanta. And so he ends up getting this job at, totally dating myself, but Blockbuster Music. It was right across the street from where we lived. So I decided to go visit him at work one night, or afternoon I should say, and so his boss is there, and for this video I'll just call him Boss. But the moment that I see Boss, there's just like this initial attraction, and if I can say it was more than just sexual. It was I don't even know how to describe it, but I just remember, because I don't think I was his type, and I don't think he was my type, but for some reason when we looked at each other, it was just a magnetism that was there. Enough that afterwards, when I went home, I was just thinking about him and just thinking, wow, what a sweet guy. And when my best friend came home, he's like, hey, Boss wanted you to have his number. And I remember at the time saying, well, you know, he's your boss. I don't want to be like involved in that type of situation. So I don't know if I will call him. But for any of you who have seen some particular videos of mine, you know that the truth was I didn't have the guts to call him. Like, my self-esteem would not allow me to call him. Like, that wasn't gonna happen, and that was the real reason. But so that's kind of where like our relationship was just kind of stagnant, and you know, I would go visit often, and part of his job, my best friend's job, was that he would get tickets and passes to like special events and just around town. I remember specifically one event with Imogen Heap, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but she's a electronica star. She's a great singer, but we went to her album release and she signed my CD, and we kind of had this little wonderful flirtatious moment, me and her. But yeah, so I was having these super cool experiences, and it was because of him. And of course, Boss was always there, so we would be around each other. And I think for me, I thought, okay, it'll just be this, you know, nothing further than what we have here. So I end up meeting someone else. We start dating. Things get serious, but then we get into a fight and we break up, right? So Boss finds out, and my best friend goes, hey, Boss wants you to go visit him at work tomorrow. I said, okay. So I go visit him, and I remember we were just outside, and I don't know what was my deal that day, but he was so sweet, and I thought I want to put the moves on him, you know. And I was pulling out, like I was saying stuff that, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, he was so full of it. But I was just trying to be cool and smooth. And I remember talking about planes in the sky looking like boats in the ocean, and I don't know, but he was buying it. And I remember thinking at the time, like, huh, this is working. I think this is working. My game, you know, like the beginnings of me having any type of game, I think we could say that. But there was another event that night, so he invites me to the event. We go to the event. A lot of his friends are there. Afterwards, we go back to his apartment, and he goes to the kitchen for something, and I remember his friend saying to me, oh my gosh, we're so glad that you're in his life, because the guy before you used to hit him and he was very abusive, and we could tell that you're not that type of guy, and so we're so glad that you're here. And that's when this light bulb went off. Like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? What I realized is that I was attracted to his naivete. I was attracted to, like, he was so super sweet and kind and nice, and I thought that that's what I was. You know, that's not to say that I'm not, but what I realized is that he was damaged. You know, like I don't think he was ready for love. And in thinking of that, it made me realize that I wasn't ready for that kind of love. Like I knew that I couldn't be what he needed in his life. It wasn't so deep at that moment, like I wasn't thinking about it that deep, but just even later on that night, I remember we went back to my place, and we started, you know, fooling around, and I remember him saying that as far as like intercourse, like in that way, he said that he just didn't do it because it was painful, and I was just kind of like, okay, that's, you know, that's cool, we don't have to do that. But I remember him saying, but I'll let you. And we tried, but yeah, he just wasn't into it. But after the next day, I thought about it a lot. I just remember, like, thankfully, I had this moment where I thought, I can't do this to him. Like, he was willing to offer up everything, just because he met a nice guy, and whatever, you know. But he thought he met a nice guy. But in my mind, I knew that I wasn't ready for that. I couldn't give him the support that he needed. And I thought, I have to break up with him. Well, we weren't even together, but I had to end it. And I remember going to his job the next day, and we were outside talking, and I just said, hey, I don't think this is gonna work out. You know, I just remember him, he started to cry, and he's like, no, it's good. He's like, just leave. And man, I walked away. My heart was broken, because I didn't want for anyone to feel that way. You know, his pain was just evident, and I didn't want to be the cause of that, you know, and that killed me. But I knew that it had to be done, you know. And later on, me and the guy that I had begun seeing, we got back together. Other stories about that, but I still think of him, because even when we got back together, Boss was still super close to two of my best friends, and I could see where he wasn't okay with it. Like he wasn't okay with it, not just immediately after that, but years later, where I would try to, like, maybe enough time has passed, and I would try to, like, maybe we can be cool, and every time I tried that through a friend of mine, the response was always not so great, you know. I know he's doing better now, you know, like, it's still that situation where I know of his life, so I know he's in a great spot now. But man, yeah, I was like, wow, I wrote a this is totally off this video, but I write music, like I write lyrics, and one of the songs that I wrote, and this is about my first love, the first lines is, I was so used to being a victim that I never ever thought I could hurt anyone, but I did. I hurt you. Believe me, that was the last thing I wanted to do. And of course, that was about my first boyfriend, but I think of Boss, and those words come back to me, because I still felt the same way. Like, wow, I thought I was trying to do a good thing because I knew I wasn't the man for you. But then I think now that I'm older and I've gone through some stuff, what I realize is that we're all damaged, right? We all come to the table with a whole bunch of baggage, and now I know, now that I'm in a better place now, I know that sometimes you have to take the baggage and you work through it, right? And maybe had I known that at the time, would I have still pursued it? Would I have been wise to? I have no idea. I just know that's the way it ended. And so yeah, I look back at that, and parts of me think it was a good thing that this is why I mentioned why it's a great thing, because parts of me think it was a good thing. I was not the man for him. I don't think we would have stayed together. I don't think I would have been healthy for him. But then other parts of me think, hey, I've been able to move on and to grow being with someone, and would that have happened? So I don't know. I'm confused. Let me know. Please like, subscribe, but comment. Let me know if you have been through a similar situation, if you've been boss in the situation, if you were me in the situation, and how did you deal with it? What was this, being on the other side of it, what do you think now of the situation? I guess that's what I'm asking you. And what do you think of mine? So, yeah, bye.